Welcome back to Ben's Beef. A little quick on the election and the leaders' debate. That was pretty disgusting. Mr. Trudeau's been trying to block rebel media from all his events and from these debates. And Rebel News had to go to court with one lawyer against Trudeau's 7 lawyers, and they beat him twice the day before the debate. And they lost. Rebel News won, Trudeau lost, so Rebel News was allowed to be there at the debates. They won that right. Trudeau also went to court back in 2019 and lost for Rebel News, trying to keep them out. And then when Rebel News did get to ask him a question, he doesn't recognize them as media, even though the Supreme Court that day just told him twice, yeah, they're media and you got to let them in, and he says he doesn't recognize them. So sounds a little dictatorship to me, but hey, what can I tell you? Then we get on to our friend Mr. Singh. Again, he dodged his question. He will not answer any questions from Rebel News. And they asked him about Big Pharma. You know, the NDP are against Big Pharma, and, you know, these billionaires getting rich off the lockdown like Walmart and Amazon, and being pro-choice about, you know, your body. Now it's like, not so much. So he's flip-flop there. And he doesn't take questions from Rebel News. Why? Because they ask tough questions he can't answer. I'd love to see him answer a tough question from a real journalist. That would be interesting. So there we go. Yeah. Then Rebel News had to tell him that, you know, and I'm sure he was listening because he came on after Trudeau had said that, you know what, I don't recognize you as media. And they told him, well, he heard that the Liberals went to court and lost in court. And that, yes, Rebel News is media. And I'm pretty sure Singh was, you know, the leaders are listening to the other leaders' answers, right? So I'm sure he heard that and knew that, but he chose not to answer their questions as well, because it was a tough question, of course. Yeah, so, and then they just said, I'm sorry, thank you. And it's like, let's move on because I'm not answering any of those tough questions. So, and then they went to the phones, and that was hilarious because I'm watching Rebel News. They're live. They're on the phones. They got 10 reporters on the phones. They go to the phones, and it's like, oh, looks like we have nobody on the phones. Rebel News goes, we're there. We're in the queue. Anyways, censorship, 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 censorship. When are you people going to listen and vote for somebody that doesn't censor you? I say let's try People's Party of Canada. Why not? They're talking all the right language. Anyways, that's my beef for today. You know, these leaders saying he criticized Trudeau, but he's just like him. He doesn't want to answer any tough questions. He's just spewing out rhetoric after rhetoric after rhetoric. You know what? Give him some tough questions. Come on. I put a challenge to the so-called accepted journalists, the ones that are, you know, do some digging, do some real testing. You know what? Let's talk about, you know, here's a good one, gun control, right? I've got some numbers on that here. I just saw it, you know, I heard them talk about gun control, and I go, well, what's the numbers? Why are we talking about it? What's the pandemic of guns? Let's see what's going on. So I went to ctvnews.ca. From 2000 to 2016, there was 13,168 gun deaths in Canada. In 16 years, 13,000 gun deaths in Canada. Of those, 9,919, almost 10,000 were suicides. Okay? And then I went to Statista.com, and it's saying that we average 250 to 260 homicide deaths per year. Not 13,000, or, you know, I don't know why they're even making an issue. So 13,000 in 16 years, 10,000 of those were homicides. And if only 250 a year are homicide shootings, what's that other 2,500 or 2,700? Probably criminals that really I don't think they listen to gun control mandates, right? If they want to do something about gun crime, put a mandatory sentence to any crime. If you use a gun in a crime, you serve 10 years, non-negotiable. 10 years. You use a gun. You rob someone and you use a gun, you get 10 years for that gun related, and then whatever for the robbery. You shoot someone, you get 10 years, and then whatever the penalty for killing someone. But the fact that if you use a gun in a crime, let's have a mandatory sentence. I think you're going to see gun crime drop if you do that, because now they use a gun in a crime and they're out sometimes the same day or the next week. They're back on the street committing crimes again. 10 years. Make it even 2 years, like something. Use some common sense, gun control. Like, yeah, let's go after all the legal gun owners that aren't committing any crimes. All the gun crimes, the crimes, not the suicides. So in 16 years, 3,000 crimes with guns, 250 a year of those are homicides. The rest are probably, criminals. Anyways, that's my beef.